Hello, and welcome to 97.9 Unity Radio, the best sports show in Worcester, Massachusetts, coming to you live from Utica, New York, Moneyline. And with me, as always, my dynamic co-host, or cohort, as they say, Frankie C., the coach.
I'm here.
Cristiano.
Ready to roll.
You are here, and you are ready to roll. It is, and myself, Steve Cully, being the best podcast host in the known universe, or radio host.
Self-proclaimed.
I'm a legend in my own mind. That's all that counts.
Good God, that's all we need to know.
So quite a lot going on in the world of sports and the world of life, so to speak. Before we get into the major news that's gone all over the country, there was an article that I read on ESPN about the quarterback position and the top 10 quarterbacks ranked by the scouts and executives going into 2024. And, you know, like we talked about Dak Prescott and getting rid of him, but who do you get instead of Dak Prescott? Who's going to be an upgrade?
Correct.
And it's very, very difficult. So the first four: Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Matthew Stafford, and they have been on the list for quite a while. Patrick Mahomes is currently number one, and I think that really speaks for itself.
Sure.
They took most of his weapons away, and he still found many, many ways to deliver, and offensively without – I mean, I like Pachenko as a runner, but for the weapons he had and the way that he performed – I do think he's a clear-cut number one. I don't know. I mean, I like Josh Allen as well, and I think Josh Allen would be a close second. But other than, Mahomes, do you think there's a great separation between them?
You can't list that, and you can't put Allen there for the only reason being is, then you could put Lamar Jackson there, but they haven't won. They haven't won a title.
Right. Right.
So bottom line, the guys that are there that are mentioned have won titles and are proven veterans and are stable figures on teams. So, I mean, those are the ones you really have to list at the top of the chart if you're looking at it dynamically from 1 to 10, 1 to 20, or the first and worst of in the NFL right now.
So you're saying that above all else, numbers, yardage, touchdowns, performance, and whatnot, winning takes precedent over everything.
Sure, it has to. I mean, these guys aren't brought in to just be mediocre or for just numbers. If it is, then Dak Prescott is the number one quarterback in the NFL. We're just talking numbers.
Then the surprise, I would have to say, is number 2 ranked on the list, Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow.
Sure.
Now, he led them to a Super Bowl the year before, but he was injured. He kind of didn't have the same year as the Super Bowl year. But number 2, I think that's I think that's a reach for him.
You got to look at the upside with Joe Burrow. You got to realize his window of performance right now has been very small. He's only been in the league for a few years, and he's already catapulted himself into a Super Bowl.
Yep,
he has established himself as a winner. Not a complete winner, because he does need that title, or he does need that trophy to reinforce himself as one of the greats. But bottom line is, when you're looking at him right now, he's a producer. I mean, whether he has talent around him or not, he makes the most out of what he has at the time. He's also combated several injuries that have put him back. But you know what? As we say, Matthew Stafford is one of the toughest guys in the NFL going out there. From taking a pounding when he was with the Lions and coming back from the injury with the Rams. You could say the same thing about Joe Burrow. I mean, here's a competitor. It's a warrior. It's a guy that's his body's been beaten up. He's back, and I think he's going to be as good as ever. And he's probably going to learn a lot from these last few years of being injured, of being a runner-up, of not getting to where he has to get to. He's going to learn a lot, take all that in, and hopefully he'll make some mental adjustments more than physical to be able to combat that.
But I don't see logically how you can rank him above Josh Allen. That's who's number 3 is Josh Allen. Josh Allen's one playoff game.
Has Josh Allen gotten to a Super Bowl?
Oh, if you're we're going.
Well, I mean, again, you
right.
gotta tier it. There has to be some criteria. It can't just be like, hey man, this guy's if not, then Lamar Jackson is my number 1 quarterback.
Right, and I don't.
And you know, and he's not the thrower that you want, but he is if he's at the quarterback position, and I'm not looking at records, I'm just looking at a great athlete, a guy that can make some plays, and someone that the team will believe in, and all that, the good stuff. Then Lamar Jackson's right up there, the top 2 or 3.
Well, I mean, Josh Allen last year was also ranked 3. He was ranked 1st, I believe, 2 years ago. But
because of the promise. And that's the Joe Burrow setup too, because of the promise.
Yes, the promise. But as we've talked about, especially with Buffalo, they have not helped him offensively, especially through the draft and everything that you've seen. He doesn't have a lot to throw to. So ranking him 3, looking at what they have, I think it is somewhat generous.
They have to be somewhat comfortable in who they have on the roster right now. I'm sure they're probably scouring the NFL, seeing who may be available either for a trade or for a free agent signing, or bringing up from one of the other leagues as far as the help. But you're not going to get immediate help like that. But they must have confidence in who they have on the roster. I think Keon Coleman is one of the receivers brought in as a rookie in the draft pick.
Yeah.
I think they have tremendous, just in reading, they have tremendous confidence in him as far as assuming one of those either Diggs or Gabe Davis's position as far as a target, and a playmaker. So they must have confidence in who they have on the roster that they could afford to really not bat an eye when either one of those players, Gabe Davis or Stephon Diggs, ended up taking off.
I know, but that go-to number 1 receiver is so important. And for Buffalo right now, I don't know who that. I mean, who do you think that is? Who is number 1? I think they have the best tight ends.
They have a good stable of tight ends. I'm telling you, the Coleman kid is going to be the number 1.
You think he's going to be the?
I think he's going to be the number 1. I think they see so much in him. And realize something too. In my eyes, I think the receiver position is starting to become like the running back position.
That's what it's turned into,
right? Yes. And now, granted, you've got some huge signings across the board with receivers over the last 2 years. I mean, incredible numbers.
Huge.
I mean, from Jefferson in Minnesota, from Tyreek Hill, from
Tyreek Hill got a huge deal.
Who else is with Tyreek Hill in Miami? He just signed a deal too.
It's not Waddle.
Waddle signed a huge deal, $80 million deal. So there are guys out there that teams want to lock in and have total confidence in. But the receiver position is something where they're just going to plug in the next guy, because if you're looking at it, who won the Super Bowl this past year? The Chiefs.
I believe the Kansas City Chiefs.
Correct. So who do the Chiefs have as their number 1 wide receiver? But still, take Travis Kelce out of the game.
They really didn't have a true number 1.
Right. They've had 4 or 5 guys that, certain guys could do certain things.
That fit certain spots,
but
not a true number.
But the quarterback is what made those receivers look good.
Absolutely, 100%.
So I think that's the thinking now across the board in the NFL is that, listen, this is why we're ranking the top 10 quarterbacks, not the top 10 receivers.
But you're putting a lot on your quarterback, though.
Yeah, but he's also taking up the chunk of the money. He's taking up all the reps in practice. He's the face of the franchise. I mean, bottom line, you're putting the guy's getting a lot of pressure, but they know that going in there. That's pressure. That's the name of the game.
So regardless, you're going to be expected to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, basically.
Sometimes you're going to have to. You're going to, and that's what they expect Josh Allen to do out in Buffalo as well. I think that these guys are getting paid a ton of money. Tom Brady did that for years with New England.
But Tom Brady always took the hometown discount to try to help the team.
Correct. But still, he took players that are probably average or a little bit above average and made them into Super Bowl winners.
No, he did. He did.
And especially at the wide receiver position. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, they brought in Moss and other guys that, you know, have had stability over years and have been great. But, you know, sometimes you're bringing them on the downside of their career. A lot of times you're bringing them when they've been established and, you know, they're having a hard time staying with teams because of their, you know, injury factors or their age factor or just, you know, an unlikability and not a fit for the team.
Unmute your mic. You can see it on there. It's got the little white thing. It says mute.
This is fantastic right now. This is great showmanship and audio ability.
Well, I'm showing him where it is. It's
he doesn't know it. He has no, obviously he's like me. He has no technical experience.
I can't unmute where your name is. Look where your name is, and you see the blue. Is it not letting you unmute it? Oh, hold on. Maybe I should be okay. Can you do sign language? Oh, it's not a big deal if it's not unmuting. I got the other thing. Give me 1 second.
What do we have to hook up now?
No, I'll just plug in the phone thing if it's.
Oh, Lord.
If it's not unmuting properly. All right, we're back. We apologize for some technical difficulties. As we know, Steve is not a sound engineer. Joining us, a very special guest who I got to see over the weekend, Sheb Shumar of Boston. He's actually in the.
He lives in Boston. You live in Boston, Sheb?
Yeah, he lives in Boston.
I do. Whereabouts? I'll be there Friday.
I live in the Brookline, West Roxbury area.
Oh, you're in Brookline. All right. Okay, cool.
Why,
yeah.
You didn't tell me you're going to Boston.
Yeah, I'm going to Boston Friday, Saturday, coming back on Sunday. My cousin wants to see his cousin out there, my niece. So we're going to drop him off. My son.
Your son.
Wants to see his cousin, who's my niece. So I'm going to drop him off at her place. And then me and my wife got 2 days to drive around. We're going to go out and eat. We'll go to North End and hang out in Little Italy, have a little dinner. Maybe try to find a salsa bar late at night. A little dancing. That's it.
Oh, I can help you out with that, Frank.
Sheb,
perfect.
Sheb has every connection.
He's got the inside connections
in Boston. Yes.
Beautiful. That's what I want to wait in I only want to be in the VIP line, Sheb. I don't want to be out in the regular line.
I don't know anything else. I only know the VIP lounge.
See, it's perfect.
I would show up. Sometimes I would call, sometimes I wouldn't, but sometimes I would just show up in Boston with like Uli and Terry and 5 of my friends and say, take us out and show us a good time. So
beautiful.
He's kind of used to it. We've had
a lot of good memories.
He's been put through it.
I can imagine. Oh.
Yes. Yes. But yes, Sheb is also a business owner like yourself.
It's a good thing.
A-List Laundry, correct?
That's correct. It is.
Laundry. Now, Sheb, my goal, and I've been trying to talk Frank.
Well, here we go.
Well, I want to get his opinion because he's a business owner. I want to open a doggy daycare, and Frank has a building that I think we could do it in, and he won't let me do it. And it's frustrating to me that I won't even get an opportunity because he's afraid of the piss and shit all over the floor.
Yeah.
I just clean it up.
Yeah.
Well, I think Frank, what's in the building right now?
It's 8,400 square feet of finished office space that's ready to go for a doctor or a large size company.
Yeah. But
okay. Got it. So let me ask you this, Stephen, in terms of opening anything up like that, right? I understand Frank's point because in my business, right, when we look at it, in my laundry business, I'm not like a laundromat. I own a commercial laundry business. Correct. So I service some airlines out of Logan, some hotels downtown, some restaurants, things of that nature. And in any space, right, it has to be set for you. So, for example, electricity and plumbing is very big in my business for their equipment. Right. So a lot of places don't have phase 3. So that brings a whole nother element into it. I'm assuming for something like what you're looking for, I would imagine that you might need separation from dog to dog, right? Like certain dogs might not get along, so you need to be sure that the places are secure.
They do a greeting and they make sure all the dogs get along. So if a dog doesn't get along, they don't get accepted into the doggy daycare.
Oh, so there's like you gotta like pass a test.
Yes, like my dog has a greater social life than I do. He goes to doggy daycare every day. And,
Got it.
And the service that they have a bus that picks him up. He gets picked up every morning at 8:00 and he goes to doggy daycare. So
what's that cost you a week, Steve?
I was just going to ask the same question.
That's what I'm saying. It's all if you pay cash.
Yeah.
It's $25 a day. If you go more than 3 days a week, they'll give you the full week for $75.
That's pretty cheap.
I know that, and there's a waiting list.
Sure.
So
how many dogs are we talking a day go in there?
They get up to 30 or 40 dogs
a day.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's not a big place. It's not a big place at all. It's right by your Tony's on Commercial Drive.
Yeah.
And they also do grooming, but it's not a big place. And all they do is clean up piss and shit.
I mean, I'm sure nowadays too, there's cleaner and easier ways to clean those things up than it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Right?
So
you just spack a little room and just hose it down. But I mean, you got to
exactly.
You got to figure that's $4 or $5 grand a week to pull in there.
So I've been on Frank for about a year now because I want to open up a doggy daycare and
go get a barn.
And he won't let me. So.
Go get a barn. Go get a barn out in the woods, and you can put all
Frank,
the
maybe
dogs
you should partner up with them. Maybe you should partner up with
Sheb, there's a bloodline that you must know about, and there's no way that this guy has any kind of business doing as far as
Sheb, I couldn't run a lemonade stand. I'd run a lemonade stand into the ground.
No. A ball of yarn is tough for Steve.
Let me say this. Steven is my cousin, but he's also one of the most personable people I've ever met in my life.
Right, but that's his problem. He won't focus on the job at hand. He'll just be talking to her. He'll be talking to the dogs, licking their tongues.
It's all about the relationships, Frank.
Yeah, it's true. Not about what you know, but about who you know. You're correct on that.
Sheb, there's a prior history, and Frank kind of holds a grudge against me because when I would come home from college in the summer or the winter, I would work at his pizzeria.
Wait, Steven, say that again. I lost you a little bit.
When I would come home for the summer or winter, I would work at Tony's Pizzeria, Frank's Pizzeria.
Okay.
So I think he's slightly biased against me because I wasn't the best worker. I think I tried hard, but I made my share of mistakes. He tried me on pizzas, and I made the pizza how I would make a pizza that I would like. So I was using double the cheese, double the toppings.
And that's expensive,
and
Frank.
he walked by and he looked at it.
Yeah, and one pizza every 14 minutes it would take him to make.
He said,
Frank, the pizza costs $9 and it cost Steven $13 to make it.
I had to pay the customer when they come pick it up.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
No, I had a big 16 pan rotating oven, a big huge oven.
Okay.
You know?
That wasn't my fault.
It's for pan. I don't know, you and your meathead friend or your bonehead friend.
That was Fusco's.
So you put a 16 or 18-inch round pan on these shelves and it rotates. You know,
It was a long pan.
he took a 17 by 25 sheet pan and put it in sideways. The long way, and bust the oven. The whole thing got caught up. So you got to go backwards.
It was a rotating oven.
Sewer maintenance. Maybe like
I folded boxes.
crocheting, maybe something like that. You can't. No, there's no way.
And then so he's obviously biased because he remembers my work history.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got somewhat of a salty taste in his mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
Somewhat of a salty taste.
And
let me ask you this though, Frank. Has El Presidente been in?
El Presidente. Oh, you mean Portnoy? Portnoy came here.
Don't go there.
No. Portnoy came here about 8 months to a year.
What happened with Portnoy?
I'm not bitter. I care less. I'm happy he came. He went to 3 different spots in our area.
Portnoy didn't come to Tony.
But I'm not. You're gonna realize something. I'm totally different. I'm a pan pizza guy.
I know he likes.
So he's not gonna my hand toss.
I get it.
I'm not a hand toss guy.
He doesn't want to flop.
No,
he wants no flop.
Yeah, he wants, and we don't. We cut the pizza in squares. We're totally we're on his. We'd be on his shit list no matter what. But that's okay. The food's good. It is what it is. We just do a different style. It's paid the bills.
He has a slight grudge that Portnoy didn't come.
I have no grudge. I could care less.
I can hear it in his voice.
I enjoy everything I see online.
I can hear it in his voice.
Yep.
in Boston, one of my favorite pizza places in the world is called Santarpio's.
Okay.
And here, Steven, I think you've been there with us before.
I have. Yeah.
There's 3 things on the menu, Frank.
Yeah.
Lamb tips, sausage, and pizza.
Lamb tips, sausage. So they're Greek.
Greek, yeah.
Making pizza.
They're right off the grill, and this place is by far my favorite pizza place, probably in the country. And I've done the New Haven thing, but I'm in Boston, and I'm a little biased, so on and so forth. But I did go to a place not too far from there, and I never heard of this before, but it was called Detroit style pizza.
That's the deep dish. Yeah. It's like Chicago.
That's deeper than what we do.
I don't like that kind.
You don't like Detroit style?
No, I don't like the Detroit style. I was trying.
I enjoyed it. I got to tell you, I was a fan.
I was trying to think. We came out there and you took us to like this high end bar. I can't remember the name of it. It was like the fanciest bar in Boston, and there were celebrities there, and it was like $15 a drink. Do you recall off the name of the top of your? You threw parties there.
Whiskey Park.
Okay.
I mean, I've been. Unfortunately, I've been in a few places.
It had like swave couches, like it was.
Oh, that is Whiskey Park. That's
called the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good spot. You know, Boston is a college town, right? Because there's 85 colleges within 22 square miles, right? So there's if you can come up, and when I was in college, I took the opportunity. I was a hotel major, but I also took the opportunity to promote parties at nightclubs during college.
He knew everything.
That's smart.
Yeah.
And that business, to be honest, I still did it into my 40s because once you figure out the niche,
it's profitable.
Why stop?
And you get the connections.
You know, and now it's easier. I used to have to hand flyers to people. Now they're all online and everything's easy. And
he doesn't even have social media. He doesn't do Facebook. None. He doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
No, I like to stay a little bit under the radar if possible.
Yeah, sometimes that's not a bad thing.
So it's not.
I wanted to jump back. So you were talking about the quarterbacks and the credentialing and a Super Bowl under your belt winning. The number 4th ranked quarterback.
Yeah.
Who were the 3 that I missed? What were you talking about?
The first 3 was Patrick Mahomes was number 1, which was fine. I was shocked at number 2. It was Joe Burrow, who I did not think he should be number 2. And number 3 was Josh Allen, who I thought should have been number 2. Look, 4 is Lamar Jackson, and I don't think Lamar Jackson should be number 4. He's won the one playoff game.
I don't disagree, but again, that is all on looking into the future. That's the Josh Allen vote, and that's the Joe Burrow vote.
So you think they're not basing it truly on who is the best right now? They're basing it on upside.
Who's going to be? They're basing it on who's going to be successful down the road as far as longevity, as far as winning. We all talked about winning is so important. They're also looking at skill set, who has a top skill set, who can do something with it, but most of these haven't achieved it yet. When you say Mahomes and you say Aaron Rodgers and you say Stafford, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah, it does.
Because those guys are winners. They've been there. They've reached the mountaintop, and they've done what they had to do for their franchises. That's why these franchises bring these quarterbacks in. They don't bring them in to be third.
No, of course not. But Lamar Jackson, he negotiated his own contract.
Right.
He didn't he doesn't have an agent. He got the money. He got paid.
He did good.
How
much did he get in his contract? Just a general guess.
250.
250, and he would have had to give
250 over what?
250 over 4, I think.
4
or 5, maybe 5. But listen, 250, and he saves 3% with no agent.
Yeah.
Right. So what's he saving?
I can't do math.
You can't do math?
No.
He's saving almost $7 million a year.
Like I told you, I didn't even know what my commission was.
So he's saving $7.5 million.
Wow.
Well, but Frank, listen, let me ask you this though.
Contract, yeah.
Let me ask you this though, Frank. If you pay that 7% to an agent, and that agent gets you a Nike deal or an Adidas deal or something that's $40 million, is the 7% worth it?
Well, actually, it's 3%, but yeah, no,
sorry, $7 million worth it.
Yeah, $7 million worth it. Possibly, but you know what? At this point in time, if you negotiated your own contract, you can pick up a phone and call Nike.
Yeah,
you could see it's not like these guys are struggling coming up the ladder and they're nobodies.
Right.
And,
Yeah,
so
you're right.
you need an agent then because you don't know anybody. But at this point in
Right.
time, he walks into a room, everybody knows who he is. They're going to give him whatever he wants. I mean, basically, because if they want him as a face of their product, so I think when you've reached that level, you can do anything you want. And at that point in time, agents are useless. I mean, you could hire you could hire some guy to do your scheduling and planning and pay him a lot less.
Well, we had Dave Shuman on the other day, and he dabbled in being an agent for several years. And
Did he?
It's just the NFL was the wild, wild west.
Right.
Number 5 is Stafford, which I think is well deserved.
That's well deserved.
It is, and he's you know what I mean.
He's older,
yes,
but
maybe old. That's the thing. He's on the downside a little bit, So that's why that's why those other guys will be ahead of him because they're just younger and there's more upside to them.
Yeah,
right. That
now,
makes sense.
6, I don't agree with is Herbert from the Chargers.
Well, I
Justin
think
Herbert.
I would put him up there.
You would put him up there, even though he got his coach fired.
Even though, you know what, his coach deserved to be fired. You've seen that guy going for it on 4th down or whatever all the time, and
it's the analytics world.
I don't care. You can take the analytics.
Right.
You can burn that. You can burn that in a big stogie. There's no way. Analytics are garbage.
Yeah.
Number 7, which I think will surprise you mightily, C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans.
Again,
number 7,
big upside.
Number 7,
young, big upside.
Ranked
He's in the
ahead
top 10.
of Aaron Rodgers.
Look what he did. First of all, he broke the stigma of Ohio State quarterbacks. There has never, ever,
the only person
ever
there was a stigma with
me.
Ohio State.
You can ask any. You can ask any. You listen. No. You can ask anybody in the general manager's offices. You can ask any ESPN announcer about Ohio State quarterbacks. There's never been a successful Ohio State quarterback in the NFL.
No,
Art Schlichter probably being one of the more successful ones, and he's a gambler. He threw his career and life away. No,
but do you see C.J. Stroud having long-term success?
Yeah, from what he did this past season, absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely. Look what he did.
Well, he's got to have the right pieces around him, though, right?
Sure. But
Sheb, did you watch him at all? Did you get a chance to watch?
I did. I did. I watched him. Not
religiously,
religiously, but I definitely watched a couple games, and I mean, personally, I don't see it. I mean, listen, they always say, right, your quarterback is only as good as your line, right? Like your offensive
pieces around you,
and the pieces around you, and but I mean, I think it also got taken. Is he a leader in the locker room? Is he a?
He was a rookie. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to turn into that, then that's like, you can see that in Mahomes, right? If you watch anything on Mahomes, he's a leader. He's getting everybody pumped up. Like, and then you probably have some quarterbacks that are a little more quiet and a little more reserved.
They lead by example. 100%. 100%.
Hey, listen,
I was shocked at that.
All I looked at, and their defense was decent, but all I looked at is Devin Singletary in the backfield.
That's who he had.
Tank at wideout, and who was the other kid at wideout?
Didn't they have Hopkins?
No, Hopkins was gone. He was gone to Arizona.
Yeah.
They had
the
other kid who was there though. He's only a two-year player or 3-year player.
So it's not like he had.
So I mean,
weapons.
he had guys that they're not household names.
No,
you would have never expected to get what they got, but they were outscoring teams.
I mean, they beat Baltimore
with a great not Baltimore
17
with a great defense that they had and an offense that could score. Yeah. I mean, so you got to give him, and does credit go to the coordinators? Credit go to the coach? Of course, they're all utilizing the players to the best of their abilities. But bottom line, you got to give this guy credit because there were other quarterbacks in the Houston organization over so many years, and they couldn't do squat.
Done nothing. No,
they couldn't do squat. So I think he's got a great upside. If top 10, I'd put him top 10. I don't know if he's 7, but
number 8, Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets.
Sure.
I agree with Frank. I think the only reason why his number is 8 is because he's old.
He's old.
Right?
Yeah, he's 40. That's all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If not, he's a top 2 or 3.
Yeah. Right.
I just personally they say that 90% of communication is nonverbal.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that or
not. I'd never heard of that.
90% of communication is nonverbal.
Really?
I try to tell all the women in my life that.
Right.
Any time you watch Aaron Rodgers in his body language, he just looks like he's disinterested and does not want to be there.
Well, probably because the guys around him aren't doing what he's expected them to do.
Well, I mean, they brought him there for a reason. They gave him whoever he wanted. They signed the receivers he wanted,
and he got hurt.
They won 7 games, which I still think
Without him.
Salia should be the coach of the year.
Robert Saleh,
Robert Saleh.
Saleh did a great job with a defensive-oriented team once Rodgers went down. But between him, I can't see him being the one that wanted Zach Wilson to still stay on the team or not go out and get somebody by week 8 or 9.
No,
so it's got to be the general manager. Again, it all goes back to the upper management.
You don't like the
I hate front offices in the NFL because they're all morons. Bottom line, their player evaluation is garbage. It's garbage.
Well, we don't know if it's garbage or if they just don't listen to him.
Well, no, I mean it's got to be the general manager. It has to be garbage. Who's the general manager of the Jets? Joe Douglas?
Joe Douglas is with the Jets.
Right.
Is the owner still Woody? What's his name?
Yeah.
Woody Johnson.
Garbage.
Correct. Woody Johnson.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Although Woody, he drops cash. He wants the team to win.
No, he has been.
But Douglas, it's garbage. You
I
can't,
agree with you.
There were guys out there, I mean, including Flacco, which you know what? Who would have known about that? That was such a diamond.
They had Flacco the year before.
The year before, and he probably looked terrible. Now he gets off of a couch and he wins games for Cleveland, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, they had who was the kid from
Trevor Siemian?
No. The kid that Minnesota picked up from Arizona. Josh Dobbs could have been.
He won a couple.
He could have stepped in and maybe done a better job than Zach Wilson, or look at this side here. We were talking about with Schumann just the other day. Maybe they didn't take the handcuffs off of Zach Wilson to throw the ball.
Yeah, you and Schumann defending Zach Wilson.
I will.
Blows my mind.
I will, because I don't think the kid is as bad as he looked.
You were down on Zach Wilson.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right. Listen, we were talking about Denver's situation this year. Who is going to be the starting quarterback in Denver? Is it going to be the kid from Oregon? Or
Bo Nix,
Bo Nix, right? Or I forget who else they have on their roster. That's a one veteran, maybe.
Yeah.
Or my thing is right now, it'll be Zach Wilson.
You're telling me now, week 1,
it'll be Zach Wilson.
They're going to waltz out there with Zach Wilson.
I put as much money on that as any of the other ones that they're going to have.
Okay,
I'll take that bet.
Okay. Number 9, I agree with this one. Jared Goff. Goff.
I do too.
Jared Goff was probably put in one of the most difficult situations. He gets traded from the Super Bowl team.
Yep.
To Detroit.
And he gets thrust into
Well, listen, that decision wasn't wrong, was it?
No,
right?
It worked out for
Ryan Stafford won the Super Bowl. Right. So he knew. So somehow the Rams coach knew that Goff is not the fit for what he wants to do. Now he goes into Detroit.
Dan Campbell.
Goff is the exact guy he wants.
Yeah, it is.
He's strong-willed.
Yep.
He's tough. He listens. He has enough talent to get the job done. That's the right fit for Detroit.
And he doesn't try to put it on his own shoulders all the time.
No.
He knows that he's got enough players around.
And the Detroit Lions right now, I think, have the best front office in the NFL.
Right.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
One thing about Goff, though, I want to say real quick is don't forget he led the Rams to the Super Bowl.
That's what I said. I'm saying
that's correct.
That's when they traded.
Oh, sorry.
Right after that, that's when they got rid of him, which is a surprise. But I'm telling you, they just realized that he can't get the final push to what they need to win a Super Bowl. He couldn't. In other words, I think they expected him to win that Super Bowl when they were there, and he must have made some major flubs. Yeah, he must have made some major flubs.
Well, Sheb, let me ask you, because Patriots and everything, and Frank and I have gone back and forth on this. Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Do you think that they should have stuck with Mac Jones and given him another year or two to see if he could get it done, or do you think that he just didn't have it?
I honestly, I would have liked to have seen him stay. I mean, I would have liked to have seen him. Well,
he's no worse than Bailey Zappi.
Well, that's the thing, and they drafted a quarterback that they're excited about.
No, Drake May could be great, but he's a little older. But I think he could be great too. I agree.
But I think, I mean, look, I think there was a definite, you come in and Cam Newton was.
Yep.
The 1 year before him or whatever that was. And then, you're still the Brady legacy is all over you, right?
Yeah.
When you're here.
It's
all over you.
Yeah. It's in the building. So,
it's like, okay, this kid, I think he studied the playbook. I think, I think his issues might have been not necessary. I think he got in his head off the field stuff.
That's what Frank said too.
That didn't allow him to perform to his potential on the field. And I think there was the Belichick things going on. And, the Patriots, as much as they're, they let the off the field stuff come out heavy. Right?
They did after that. Yes, for sure.
Well, you got to realize,
You know what I mean?
once Tom Brady leaves, it's a forest fire. There's nothing because now you're scrambling for wins. You're scrambling for stability. You're scrambling for a leader at the most important position on the team. I think the problem with Mac Jones is this: Mac Jones has a pop gun arm. I don't think he has. I don't think he has a really valid NFL arm we could throw deep. So now you're dealing with an intermediate passer. So what did they do? New England went out. New England went out and got intermediate receivers. Yeah. They had nobody to stretch the field because no one's going to catch a ball because the guy can't throw it deep. Yeah. So now you've shrunk the field by 2/3.
Even though he was a Pro Bowler.
Even though he's a Pro Bowler. Okay. I'm telling you right now, you shrunk the field by 2/3. They're jamming and rolling up on all the receivers. He's got no open targets down low, and he can't throw deep. You're done.
All right. Number 10, Dak Prescott, who I know you love. Dak Prescott is number 10.
Yeah, you got.
Is that a sarcastic "I know you love" or is that?
No, Frank despises
me. I don't. I'm not. I don't despise anyone.
He's not on the Dak Prescott train.
I'm not because again, that's a guy who. If you're going by numbers, yes, he's got to be a top 10 guy. But if your numbers only show up when they're not really counted upon, then you're not a top 10 guy, and that's Dak's problem.
Yeah, they were undefeated at home, and once they played on the road at the playoffs, it was over. And, honorable mention, I think he should have been ranked for sure, Brock Purdy. How do you not rank Brock Purdy in the top 10?
Yeah, I would say yes, but I would also say that I don't know. He has so many. Yeah, he has so many weapons around him. But you know what? He in the playoff run, he's shown that he actually makes plays. So just by running, scrambling, and throwing. So yeah, you got to. I would say that he's in that top 10 fringe right there, without a doubt.
Yeah, it was Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Tua, and Kirk Cousins.
Now
Trevor Lawrence.
Jordan Love. You will see the progression happen.
You think Jordan Love's going to step up and be a superstar?
I think you're going to see the Green Bay Packers win the Central.
Really? Have you ever been to Lambeau?
Yeah. What's that?
Have you been to Lambeau?
I've never been to Lambeau. I'd love to go.
Yeah.
Steven?
No. Actually, yes, I have been to Lambeau. Yeah. I have been to Lambeau. Yes. Yeah.
It's a magical, wonderful environment.
Yeah.
It's funny because
it's got an aura.
It does, and it's in the middle of a residential neighborhood.
That's where they put it.
You know what I mean? Like
everybody owns a part of the team.
You'll be going to the field, and somebody will say, "Hey, park in my driveway, $25." The guy next door will be indoor parking, $30. He opens up the garage door.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean?
The guy saying that. The guy saying that's probably a shareholder. You know what I mean?
That was where I was going with it. I was fortunate enough. I got friendly with a kid named Will Blackman.
He played. Yeah.
And Will Blackman played for Boston College, and then he went to the league, and he played for the
Jacksonville, didn't he?
He did, but he also played for the Packers, and he played for a couple other teams. And when he was in Green Bay, he gave us tickets to a game, and he returned a punt for a touchdown that game.
Wow!
So it was a super exciting time, and we got to go with him to his press conference and all that. And I'm looking around, right, and I'm watching it, and all in Green Bay is the Packers. That's it.
It's life and death. Yeah.
It's life and death, right?
Yeah, the most loyal fans.
They have like a sub AAA hockey team there. That's it. The Green Bay, I forget what they're called.
I played against the arena team there.
Right. So they have an arena team in football.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
They did back then.
And they have a like a below AAA hockey club.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you're comparing Lambeau to Utica, basically.
Basically, right.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think when you're a quarterback in that system, right? You're obviously going to say it's not a big media market, but it doesn't have to be.
No, no, not anymore.
It doesn't have to be, right?
Not anymore.
They are like the type of people, and I think the game I went to was against Minnesota, so it was a rivalry game,
right?
And it was just something like I've never seen before, because I've been to Red Sox Yankees. I've seen rival games, right?
Yes.
But these people, and the shareholder part is totally true, right? Like they think that they can tell everybody what to do from the stand.
They own it. Like, they're part owners.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think a quarterback in Green Bay has not just to worry about the stuff on the field. Yeah. Again, off the field issues as well. But so it's a tough spot.
Are you? I couldn't remember. Are you a diehard Patriots fan?
Oh yeah,
you are.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. I was absolutely. I love everything about the Boston sports teams. I love everything about them, and I think being in Boston and in the 80s and 90s, it sucked.
Well, I mean, the 80s, they won a couple championships.
Well, the 80s, you got the Celtics. I remember
late 80s, right? So after 86, they didn't win.
We're talking about Patriots?
I think I was 5 in 86.
He's talking about the Celtics.
Right? Oh, Celtics. No, listen, I'm a Celtic fan too, so I totally understand where you're coming from. But, I mean, even in those years where it wasn't as competitive, you still had the fire of being a rabid fan. I mean, just because it's a storied franchise, you're loyal to the end to it, So, I mean, I'm a Bird guy from the Birds era when I was 14, 13. I mean, that's Larry Bird's coming out party, So, I mean, that's my era. My son wore 00 in basketball. He's a center, and Robert Parrish is a center. Wore 00. The Chief, love the Chief. So, that's why my kid wore 00. So, it's a thing where I have huge ties to the Celtics. I'm not I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Celtic fan. I'm a Redskin fan or Commanders or whatever the hell you want to call them.
You won't call them.
No, I won't call them Commanders.
I don't blame you. I won't either.
That's garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm a Ranger fan. So I mean, I'm all over the landscape as far as teams that I root for, but I also root for players. I like, like in basketball, I really love Jokic and
I think they were talking fun to watch.
They're just a different level. So you have to admire those guys. People go out like people hate LeBron. How can you hate LeBron? I mean, I don't root for LeBron because
misconception.
Yeah,
of LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you hate a guy who will be, if not number 1 or number 2 player in the NBA all time?
Yeah.
Best all time. I'm a Jordan guy, so for me, it's always going to be Jordan.
I agree with you.
But and again, that's why you can't compare eras because it's very difficult to compare.
Right,
eras.
100%.
Yeah, but I mean, but the Celtics thing, man, that's all me. I've been to 3 Celtic games, I think, in my lifetime. I'd love to get to a few more. I just never get the opportunity that much. I brought my kid and my wife out in 19. We saw Indiana.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I saw Indiana at home in the first round. So no, it was great.
Sheb, what did you think of the draft for the Celtics? Were you happy with the draft?
I mean, I was still riding the high from the championship.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
So, I'll be honest. I think, and the draft, I thought they did well, but and this is going to sound crazy. What I would have done if I was the Celtics is I would have drafted Bronny James. I would have called the Lakers and said, we have your son.
Just to shove it up their ass.
We have your son. What are you going to give us?
Are you drafting him or are you kidnapping him?
That's what I would have done if I was the Celtics.
Yeah.
I would have done something of that nature to make it a little more
exciting.
A little
exciting.
Fun.
Yeah, exciting.
You know what? You're right. And I probably would have done something like that too. The guy's agent is calling people, telling
them don't draft him. Don't draft him. Don't draft him.
Screw you.
You know what? You know what? The guy calling to say don't draft him was totally right. Shouldn't have been drafted.
You're right. I agree.
0 for 10 or 0 for 8 from 3-point line from three last night or the night before. He is horrible.
How about this though? In the combine, everybody was listing him at 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah,
when he got measured, he was 6'1".
6'1". What platform shoes were they measuring him on?
Right. Like, come on. I mean, what are we doing here?
It's a joke.
That bothered me.
But wait a minute though. I still am okay with it. I wouldn't have touched him if I'm a GM. I'm okay with it because you know what? Get the first father-son duo in there playing the NBA history.
Oh yeah, that part I'm okay with. I have no issue with
that. But he's not for them to waste the pick. They could have signed him as a free agent.
He's never gonna. You think he'll ever be a starter in the NBA?
Yeah, not a starter, but he'll come off the bench and play with his dad in the game this year.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that'll sell the tickets. Right.
It'll sell the tickets. And it will also end it because after a while, you can't leave the kid in because, Jesus, he can't defend anybody. He's 6'1". He can't freaking shoot. He's terrible.
What's his ceiling? 4 or 5 years? I mean, do you think
his ceiling is the size of a dog kennel?
Who? LeBron's ceiling?
No, Bronny.
Bronny. Like
Bronny's here?
he's not playing 10 years in the
It's a
NBA.
tin.
No,
No. It's the tin of tobacco. That's his ceiling. Like if he stood up, his head would crush against the top of the tin.
Yes, I agree.
You know, when we talk about things like that, though, then I look at like a team like Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
Now Giannis has his brother on the team, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that spot where, obviously you're there because your brother wants you there, right?
Of course.
You could get another player that would produce.
His brother has to be traded. His brother just has to be traded.
Yeah.
He wants out.
He did?
He wants out. He wants out of Milwaukee. Yeah. He can't.
I didn't know that.
I guess he can't stand the lack of minutes. Have you seen the guy play?
No, I see him on Disney.
It's yeah, well, that's where he should be. It's horrible.
I see the fucking guy on Disney.
He should be a
and
cast
his
member.
teeth.
He should be a cast member. It's awful.
I don't get that. And the other thing, back to the Lakers, like the JJ Redick hire, right?
Oh, yes.
I don't know how everybody feels about it. I enjoyed JJ Redick as a commentator. I did. I thought he was okay.
He was insightful. Right? I mean, he did okay. Yeah.
He did okay. But what I didn't like was how he would, when he got onto the podcast with LeBron, right? When he started that, okay, that to me was like almost like his job interview.
Well, he was politicking. Yeah, he was one.
Right. He's doing it. He's bringing out the clipboard and he's doing it. And in this press conference, he goes, he hasn't coached since 4th grade.
Yeah, but go back on this though, Shep. Who would take that job?
Yeah, we were talking about
nobody.
That.
Well, obviously the guy from UConn didn't take it, right?
Nobody. No, that's a dumpster fire.
And all it is right. It's LeBron's making the calls, right?
Right.
He's making the
calls.
He
should be the player coach. They should just listen. He should have coached the team. Bill Russell's done it. Bill Russell's done it.
Exactly.
He should have coached the team.
You want to stir up some shit, do that.
Right, but LeBron don't want that because if the shit hits the fan and the team stinks, it's his fault. Then he's got to take that blame
for it.
Right.
If not, they can keep hiring and firing and blaming the coach all the time.
Right.
It's a dead end job. I'm so happy that Hurley didn't take it.
Yeah,
I thought it would have been a massive mistake by him to take that. Number one, the distractions that are there in LA, besides the whole Bronny issue and the whole who can't play with who and who thinks who is better and who is on constant game management. I mean, they're all these guys. They don't play every other day. They're out. So I think
Hurley. Right. I mean, a college coach is also somewhat of a teacher, right?
Much more so than an NBA, yes.
And an NBA coach is more of a relationship guy.
Yeah, you're an organizer. Yeah.
You're an organizer,
keep
right?
everyone happy and
keep them happy.
Yeah.
Play, this one doesn't, like you said, Frank, this one doesn't want to sit next to this one on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, like honestly, what did Missoula do this year? What did he do? What he did was he just let them play. He doesn't call
exactly, and he was open to that. He made it very clear that he didn't do. He said he didn't do much.
No, listen.
Right?
Take threes.
Much.
Take as many freaking threes as you guys want. Bomb it from everywhere. It does not matter.
He believed in the analytics system and the network, and then he got thrown into a shitty situation because don't forget the year before they went to the year before he started, they went to the finals.
That's right.
Right. With Udoka.
With Eman,
right?
Yep.
And they all loved him.
Yep.
They loved him.
Yeah.
And now he gets thrown into the fire. And I give him a lot of credit because he's right. He didn't have they surrounded him with enough talent that it would have been, really hard for them to lose. And all he had to do was kind of steer the ship and give them some different sense of motivation. Like he did a lot with like UFC fighters. He brought them in and had them speak in the locker room.
Right.
He had a soccer guy come in and speak to them and about laser focus because the most frustrating thing about watching the Celtics was in close games watching Jaylen Brown lose the ball when he was dribbling. Right? Or missing free throws, which they still do.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Those were frustrating things. And now there was a different sense of confidence. And I really credit that, not to just them being older and failing a couple times, but I think Missoula just kept them on track.
Sheb, Joe brought in one valuable thing. He brought in Jesus Christ into the locker room.
Sam Cassell.
He brought in Sam Cassell and Jesus Christ into the locker room.
Right.
That's
Sam Cassell.
Right.
Did you? I mean, for you, I mean, being a Celtics fan, how was the season for you overall? It must have been magical. You must have gone to a lot of games. It must have been.
You know what?
Incredible
This is how magical it was. My mother and father, when we were in school, they would come to games, but they were never like going to watch a game on TV. My mother didn't miss one Celtics game.
No, she knew everything about the team.
She didn't miss one game. She was up in the morning listening to the radio shows. She was cursing. I mean, she really got into it. And I think for me, right, like in 08, I had a friend who had courtside seats, okay? And I went to 2 games where I sat on the floor. And I remember one game, Rudy Gay, again, they were playing the Grizzlies. Yeah. Rudy Gay went up for a layup. Tony Allen, and his tooth landed right in front of me.
Oh, my God.
Okay?
Rudy Gay?
I looked at it, I see his tooth, and I say, man, this game's a lot harder than I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, you never see anything like that. I mean, but I'm saying to myself, the 82 games of that physicality, right?
Yeah.
Of playing defense and bumping and all that. I mean, it was, to me, as long as they got by the first round, my biggest concern was Miami. Wow. I thought once they beat Miami, I thought we were good.
We thought, I mean, we had been doing the show, and we thought had New York been healthier, New York could have beaten
the Villanova Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, I thought yes, if they were at full strength, I mean, that would have been. I think they would have beaten Indiana, and that would have been. I think it would have been a bloodbath 7-game series. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah,
just because of momentum.
And Thibodeau's a stud.
Yeah,
I'm a big 100%. Thibodeau fan.
Although I don't dig him playing guys 45 minutes a game, man.
Well, he comes from the Doc Rivers school.
Yeah, but sometimes that's too much. I don't mind. Listen, guys got to play, and I totally understand that. But you got to have 9. You got to play with 9. If you don't play with 9, something's wrong.
Yeah, you got. Yeah.
And they sometimes he's playing with 7. You can't do that.
That's the old school mentality.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying a pitch count. I'm not saying you got to maintenance and take games off of that. But I'm just saying, listen. 30, 32, 35, 30, 38, whatever the guy. And that way they can bust ass when they're on the court, because at some points, even when you think you're going full speed, you gas yourself at 40 plus minutes.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's hard, man.
So look at Luka. Right.
Exactly.
Look at Luka.
Right.
I mean, how many times can that guy throw his hands up?
Oh my God.
I mean, he looks at the refs, he throws his hands up, and it's like, bro, you're while you're doing that, you're taking, like, he was, I think he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I think he was out of shape.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Well, that's been the thing with him for the last 3 years.
And his body wasn't prepared to go all the way to the final.
No, not that long.
But that was a team that had a great run. I didn't think they belonged in the finals. I like them. That was a team that, besides Irving and Luka, what do you really have? You're looking at
you had Washington.
Yeah, no, you don't have a 3. You don't have a number 3. Who are you going to swing the ball to make a shot? And that's what they lacked. And if you look at the Celtics, I thought the most, yes, Porzingis, yes, Drew Holiday, unbelievable signings, unbelievable fit for the team. Everything worked. Minus Porzingis is being out for a while. But I think the guy that really solidifies the Celtics is Derek White.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Because his scoring increased so much this year. They could count on him. Yeah, his defense is always there. That's his game. But now he's putting in 20 a game.
Yeah, it changed.
So what does that do now on the floor? Who do you take away? All 5 guys can score. And then you bring Horford off, the 6th guy can score.
Horford was a huge
so what I'm saying is that when you got 5 options on the court, that's what I look for in an NBA team. They say they need the big 3. I need 3. No, you need 5, man. And when you got 5, you're hard to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And when you can see now, like with Dallas, Clay going to Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately for Clay, it was a contract year and he didn't have the best season, right?
Right.
And so he, really thought he should have been able to get more than whatever. But Dallas takes him now, okay? And they say, okay, you can get Kyrie and Luka, get them inside. That doubles down. Now you're kicking out. Clay's only there to shoot 3s, right?
Right.
He's not there to do anything. He's not the 2-way player he used to be. He's not. He's only there to shoot 3s. And I think if he accepts that role, right, and just stays in his lane, I think that can make a huge difference for them.
Right.
He'll excel.
I do.
For sure.
I think that can make a huge difference for them.
Sure it does.
Um,
Sure it does. But look at the difference that a Porzingis or a Horford makes by pulling out Dallas's number 5 man. I mean, you pull your center out because they got to guard the 3-point line, right? Yeah, so now you've taken away the defense in the entire middle over there. I mean, it just if you got a guy, you got a 6'10", 7-foot guy that can bop 3-pointers. That's incredible.
Right. No, 100%. It changes the dynamic of the game. And Porzingis, you know, we were always worried he's going to go down. He's going to get hurt.
It's just when.
The fucking guy's a toothpick.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, he brings a certain level, like that game 1
unbelievable
in the finals. I mean, he just set the tone.
That buried the whole series. That buried Dallas.
It was really, and somebody made a great comment at some point, because I know I'm biased, but in Boston, we never hear, all we heard going into the finals was, oh, Dallas is going to do it. You know, like, everything was Boston can't do it. Boston can't do it. Boston can't. At the end of the day, dude, we were the 1 seed. They were the 5 seed, and it showed.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
should have been a sweep anyway.
Let's look at the facts here.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, let's look at the facts. And I think Tatum and Brown, I was really worried. I love them both. And I loved them both when they were being criticized heavily. I've always liked them. I really was nervous. The media was really going to drag the finals MVP and the Eastern Conference final. I thought they were going to really rip that apart.
Yeah.
And Tatum just showed a maturity that I thought was very, very cool. And it's almost like you can see he matured, because when you listen to Kobe or you listen to Michael or they care about is winning.
Right.
They don't care about individual achievements.
Everything else will come. Everything else will come and fall in place. Absolutely. You have to win. You have to win.
You have to win. And I think, you know, because I remember Tatum in his 2nd or 3rd year, he was like, well, I want to make the All-Star team this year. I was like, no, that's not what you say.
No, don't say that.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's not what they want to hear.
That's not it. It's like, we just, whatever it takes to win. And I thought that was awesome. But I agree. Eric White was huge. He was.
Yep. I thought that was the one piece. I thought that was the piece that really fit. I mean, just fit for them.
Yeah. And he just gets everywhere.
Yep.
He's everywhere.
Yep.
He's just everywhere. And I love that. And I think, I got to be honest, Peyton Pritchard, right? And I'm not talking about just the playoff stuff. I mean, during the season, they're ready to play unit, whatever they call that, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Was always ready to play. Sam Hauser, Pritchard.
Who has a faster 3-point shot release than Sam Hauser?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't even see the ball in his hand. It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And I'll tell you what he did in the finals. I thought he played tremendous defense. Oh, I thought it was unbelievable. Unbelievable his matchups. I thought it was. And listen, bringing in Shireman and Watson to the fold, I think are great moves. They're older guys. They're veterans of the college game, and they're going to come in and they're going to be ready to play if they're needed to play. I'll tell you right now.
Right.
No, they're only going to get better. We are going to segue now because Frank made some comments on the last show. We got into a little political debate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the state.
They said the response was really high. We were off the charts.
We got
3 people called in. They must have talked about.
You keep knocking our station.
I'm not knocking the station. I mean, come on.
Ernie, we love you.
We're from Utica. Who's listening?
Ernie, we love you. Everyone's listening. We're the #1 sports talk show in Worcester.
That's unbelievable.
You understand that?
Yeah, I guess.
Number one.
I guess.
I have #1.
I got to see the. I got to see the book.
I'm going to give you the Nielsen print.
I got to see the book.
So we talked a little bit about the we watched the debate, and it was just amazing to me that Biden was on stage, and I don't know how he functioned, and it was a complete disaster. Trump goes out on Saturday. I'm over with Sheb. I'm in Newport. We're with Sheb and his father and his sister and his sister's husband. We're all having dinner together, and Trump gets shot. the assassination attempt.
He ruined the whole fucking dinner.
Right. You got to blame him for that too. I mean, there's so much to blame him for.
That. It was awesome. I mean, everyone was on fire about it, and he didn't want to leave the stage. He was ready to go after the guy.
Right.
And
no stamina. He's got no stamina.
Frank's working theory is that possibly it may have been an inside job. Because it just doesn't pass.
I'm not saying inside job. Here's the thing. It
doesn't pass.
Listen, it doesn't. But here's the thing too. So when they talk about it, liberals will say. So how about people say this? This is the most unbelievable thing to hear is that they're going to say that you know what Trump staged this for donation money and votes for donation. Listen, he's a martyr now. So they put a 20-year-old kid.
There you go. You're right on track.
He was rejected from his school shooting team. He wanted to join the school shooting team, but they said you're so bad, there's no way we're going to accept you. Right?
He got 5 shots.
He did. He squeezed off 4 or 5. So Trump is going to set it up, or someone's going to say, "Hey, Mr. Trump,
you're going to say
Donald. I've got a fantastic
registered
idea.
Republican too, by the way.
Right. But gave $15 to the Democrats. So Donald, I've got a great idea. Donald, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get a guy to position himself about 130, 140 yards away from you when you're up there in Pennsylvania on the podium. And we're going to ask him just to take a shot and graze you in the ear.
He's that good.
Who is he? Is he a Navy SEAL sniper?
A sharpshooter.
No. He works in the dietary department in a retirement home. That's where he works, a dietary department retirement. But you know what? Once you get grazed in the ear, okay, and then what we'll do is we'll ask him to squeeze off a couple more rounds. Maybe he'll kill somebody in the stands. It doesn't matter at this point, right?
Sure.
Because it's all about money and votes.
Right.
That's the theory they're going to come up with. Tell me. I mean, first of all, you have to be a sadistic bastard to wish anybody to die over politics. Right. I don't care if you like the man or not. Listen, Joe Biden, I need him to go away and retire in a cave somewhere. That's all I need personally as a consumer and a small business owner. And in New York State, that's a triple death combination right there. That's the widowmaker right there, if you know what I'm talking about, right? So I need him to go away. Do I wish him to die? No. He's somebody's father. He's somebody's husband. He's somebody's grandfather. Right. So there's no way. He shouldn't die over politics. But there are people out there, right? If Joe Biden got shot, and I'm sure there's people on the conservative side too. Like, if they were shot at Biden, they're like, I should have finished the job and all that, But he fell down. He was sleeping, so he was sleeping. And the shooter missed.
He fell asleep.
But the thing is, right now, there are people out there that wish that. You have to be the most unintelligent,
it's ignorant,
immoral person in the world to wish that on anyone. Okay. And somebody did die in the stands, and the others were shot as well,
his wife and kids.
His wife and kids, and so and what are they going to say? Well, he's a Trumpy, so he deserves to die. You think someone deserves to die because of their political views?
No, right.
You work in the fire department. Yep.
Right.
So
he was. I mean, firemen are considered real heroes, right? Yeah. They're considered real heroes. Frank, I have to tell you this. I somewhat agree with you. Have you ever seen the movie The Manchurian Candidate?
Yes. Yeah. Of course.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't believe the kid could have made that shot.
No, not in a million years.
I don't believe he could have made that shot. I do believe a professional could have, and they said, "Hey, kid, sit here."
And the police saw him. They kept calling.
But I'm listening to experts on TV that are saying, "Hey, listen, I work with snipers all the time and all that. I can teach a kid in 6 minutes how to calibrate that up directly with whatever weapon they're using over there, any kind of long gun." He goes, "We can get
22.
Yeah. No, well, that's 22. We got an AK, but I mean, you could. I guess my point is this." If you could squeeze off enough rounds before they find you, how about that flub? How do they not find the guy? So the 20-year-old kid climbed up. No, some reports say there's a ladder. Some reports say there's no ladder. So he Spider-Man up the side of the building with a rifle and 50 rounds, right? And he's laying flat on top of the building. People are saying, and then people are saying, hey, we see a guy over the building. Yeah. Two different officers took snapshot pictures of him and reported it back to the command. But you know what building he was staying on? You know what the building was?
No.
It was the command post for the local police department. It was their command post.
God. So and here's the other part, Frank. When they do those rallies, when they do those rallies,
they clear everything.
When the Secret Service goes 2 days in advance, They say, okay, this is a potential spot. Let's make sure we're securing this area.
Right.
Everybody on TV said that should have been the first area that was secured.
Absolutely. Rooftop.
Right?
Rooftop.
That was the first area that they said, oh, that's too close.
Why is there not a guy on every rooftop within a half mile?
Didn't it seem like they kind of reacted a little late?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Sure they did. Sure they did. They came up late.
That's what I noticed.
There were 4 rounds squeezed off, and all of a sudden, here come a couple guys running on top of there. You're like, hey, what?
Well, maybe one of them was like, is it worth it? I don't know.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then did you see? And listen, can females be Secret Service officers? I think so, without a doubt. You know what I mean?
You heard her.
But you got to give me some tough bitches, right? You can't give me somebody that can't holster a pistol.
I know,
right?
I know.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I know. I mean,
they say they even experts with pistols say this. Should you be able to? Do you ever look at your holster when you go to holster your pistol? And the answer is yes, you do.
Yeah.
When the area is secure, when the threat is eliminated, when it is all calm, you can look down to your holster. Right. If not, you keep the weapon out, right?
Of course.
So they're pushing a 78-year-old guy who just got winged in the ear in the motorcade car, right? Nobody knows what's going on. They did say the shooter was down. You could hear that on the podium. They said shooter's down. But do they know that there's another shooter? No.
Nobody.
Right?
No.
Okay, right. So he's surrounded.
Is there an explosive? Maybe there's an explosive.
Right. The kid had it. He had like 4 or 5 explosives in his truck. He was going to set them off with a remote detonator. Yeah, he had IEDs right there. So
holy crap.
He's set up, man. Let me tell you something.
I did not know that.
There's no way that a kid who plays video games in his basement and dresses in camo and graduated 2 years ago from high school is doing all this without some help.
With some direction.
Right. Yeah. So, but
absolutely.
But my thing is, the FBI has flubbed everything. There's going to be an independent. It doesn't matter. They're going to bring it. It's going to be like everything else. Everyone's going to yell and scream in the Senate and argue in the Senate. Yeah. All the House Republicans are going to go crazy, and then at the end, nothing's going to happen.
Right. Well, what do you think should happen?
What should happen? The Secret Service director should be fired right off the bat. Okay.
Really? Just like that?
The Secret Service, the head of the Secret Service should be gone.
Fired.
Gone.
Fired.
Listen.
Okay.
When the
who has to fire the head of the Secret Service?
Wait a minute. When the Titanic sank, are you gonna fire the guy bringing the meal to your cabin, or are you gonna fire the captain of the ship? You're in charge of the whole
captain went down with the ship.
Okay. That's right. That's right. He did the honorable thing.
Right. This he went down with the ship. He didn't want to deal with the publicity.
This director here, first of all, another what do they call it? Inclusive equity. Diversity, EDI, equity, diversity, inclusion. Whatever it is. I don't know.
Equity.
So Joe Biden got this woman hired. Joe Biden got this woman brought back in. Right? She was a security for, I forget what it was. She was in the Secret Service. Then she went away and she did security for a major company.
I heard.
And then she came back. And then Joe Biden was the one who told her husband, after she woke him up from drooling on the pillow all night, Joe, we need this director of the Secret Service because she's going to overhaul and change everything that we know about the Secret Service. It won't be male and white dominated. It won't be male. How many black Secret Service guys do you see? I don't see many at all. They should be in there. Yeah. I would want. So you're the president elect, right? Or you're the president of the United States. And you got Secret Service guarding you, right? Do you want the 5'4" female woman who can't shield you because Trump's 6'4"? Right. Or do you want a former NFL middle linebacker who's 6'6", 250 right now, who can tackle a bulldozer? That's the guy I want, right? I could care less about race. I just need some dudes. I hate to say this. I'm sounding chauvinistic, or I'm sounding. I am
the president, though. It's the leader.
Well, anybody. Listen.
Well, you can give that job because the president gets a Secret Service agent for the rest of his life.
Correct.
Oh, he does.
So you can give that job to when he gets out of office to the 541.
Right. But I mean, I listen. It's not like I get Secret Service protection. I may need it after this, especially if I go to Worcester, Mass, right now, because the listeners are like, exactly. They love you. But all I'm saying is, right now, you cannot do these kind of hires and direction, and there is no kumbaya and love moment in an organization like the Secret Service.
No,
hard-nosed SOB. No. You have to hate everyone. If you're the head of the Secret Service, you have to hate everyone because everyone's a suspect.
Everyone's a threat.
Absolutely.
Everyone's a threat.
Absolutely. Right. That's your job. That's your job.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my point.
Frank, you know what you were saying about the holster and the gun?
Yeah.
Okay. if you ever watched the video of the Boston Marathon bombings, okay?
Absolutely. I followed that. I mean, I tell you, that was riveting TV right off the bat.
I know, I remember.
But if you watch the videos of when the bombs went off, okay?
Yep.
And you watch them and you see the bomb go off and you see everybody in the crowd duck or run, and then just look at the policemen and watch their first reaction. It's hand on gun, right?
Right away.
Right.
Wow.
It's like and they all do it at the same exact time.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah.
It's almost like, okay, their brain is trained to react that way in that moment, right?
Right.
But agreeing with your point, that 4-second delay of like waiting, like what's going, like I think if you're gonna eliminate the directors, it should be because the protocol wasn't right. But
here's the thing,
they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I think, and from what I've read, and hopefully I'm wrong on this, the Secret Service teams were switched.
Yeah.
The Trump Secret Service team went to Joe Biden over the last couple of days.
I didn't know that.
Just within the last couple of days. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong on this. And they must have sent in this, not the B team, but the C team. Because they were all they were like, oh well, we thought it was firecrackers. Who the fuck has firecrackers?
Firecrackers.
Firecrackers. You hear pop.
Did you see Biden on Friday? Did you hear his speech on Friday?
No. What did he say?
His speech on Friday.
Oh, about calling Trump a target.
He goes, "Make no mistake about it. Donald Trump is a threat to this country."
Right. Oh, without a doubt.
And then on Saturday, he's saying that people are taking.
I mean, like it's almost like.
Far.
It's almost like, wow.
People are taking politics too far. It shouldn't go this far.
Or Trump's, or it might be the inside job of Frank saying, this is a good opportunity.
Right. Listen.
He just called me a threat.
Let's send him
now I graze my ear.
This kid was
do a couple fist bumps.
Yeah. This kid was just in a BlackRock commercial last year. He was in an organization that's so covert and so dirty, BlackRock, that he was in one of their prime videos coming out in 2023.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah. He was as a 19-year-old kid or whatever he was. I don't even know how does that kid get the gig? He said he's a loner. He got bullied his whole life.
Yep.
See, and that's what people they're going to go. He got bullied. You know, no, fine. Listen,
fit the model.
Right. At some point, if you get bullied, why didn't he should have stood up to the kids that are bullying him. I'm not saying the kid's wrong. Some people can't do that. Some people can't do that.
That's touchy, Frank. That's touchy.
Yeah, but you know what though? He doesn't want to stand up to defend himself, but he's going to go pop the former president of the United States in the head.
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it would have been nice if somebody helped the kid in school and said, "Hey, why we?" You know what I mean? Like
without a doubt.
Without
a doubt, the kid obviously there was something wrong, and it wasn't picked up on. I understand that. But I mean,
obviously festered for the kid to.
But for people to not put together, and maybe I hope I'm wrong. I just because I'm not a true conspiracy theorist, but I know that there are people much smarter than me running the country that we don't know about. Okay, it's a handful. It's a handful of people.
I think there's. I think now too. You ever hear of that group called Anonymous?
Yes, I love Anonymous. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, Stephen. Do you think it is a group of MIT graduates who are some smart, or do you think it's a group of like 14-year-old kids?
Well, I would hope it's a group of MIT people. I
right. Right? We want to hope that, right?
Yeah, I hope it's not a bunch of 14-year-olds sitting behind a keyboard.
Right. That can break into the White House.
Sure they can. Absolutely
right?
It is. Absolutely. It's a bunch of young kids who got nothing going on. It's got to be.
Did you ever there was a great documentary on the guy that started that website that like if you broke up with your girlfriend, you could put pictures up of her.
Oh, like the revenge porn. The revenge porn. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see the documentary on it?
I did.
And did you see what the Anonymous did to him?
Yes, I did. They
emptied his bank account.
They
made a death certificate. They ruined his credit
to try to make him come. I remember that. Yes.
They sent a message to the girl on her computer that says, "We got you covered, Anonymous."
Done. Yes.
You know.
So these are the guys running the country.
This
something
dude
in my
did
head
this
says
to like 5 people.
Right.
right?
But my thing is,
it was unbelievable.
Since
it was unbelievable how they did that. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, I'm going, my God, why do people go on TV and
that's why Sheb doesn't have social media. He's smart.
Absolutely. Believe me, if they go into my record, I'm in trouble.
But I mean, think about it. The FBI, since bugging Donald Trump's tower, right, pre-election, okay, and then denying Hunter Biden's laptop and the information that's on it, and then going in and
Hillary
doing
the emails.
doing the emails, that's it. But then right, because look at Jim Comey over there saying that we don't put the emails, no such thing, and then to talk about the documents, the confidential government documents
that he took home,
right? That he took home. So Trump and that case got dumped today. Yeah. So bottom line, he's got paper in Mar-a-Lago. Okay, he's got paper in Mar-a-Lago. Joe Biden's got him in his Corvette, but that's okay because you know what? He's not. Joe Biden shouldn't be held accountable for that one because he's not really competent to be able to defend himself. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and Trump is Hitler.
He's a nice.
I mean,
old man.
so after a while, if you villainize someone to the point where you say he's Hitler, someone's going to listen. Yeah. What would have happened if someone got to Hitler before he became Hitler? We'd probably be better off, right?
Well,
Maybe
he wouldn't have wrote the Mein Kampf when.
No, but there wouldn't have been 60 million dead in the world at the time, right? Between the Holocaust, 20 million on the Russian side, all on the Germans. So someone would have said this. So there are people out there, like, oh my God, if I can just get rid of this Hitler guy. If I can get rid of this freaking Hitler guy, so you know what?
Life is going to be
so much better. So that's what all these people are wishing for. Because
let me ask you this, Frank. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Stephen and I talked about this over the weekend. We in our country, right? We spend a lot of time on who do you like for president? Who do you like this, and that. When you talk about your life and changing your day-to-day life,
does nothing.
Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah.
The only really way to do something is to vote locally.
Your local politicians are the ones that hold everything for you in your everyday life.
Your life, you need to be educated on your local politicians.
Agreed. 100%.
He said the exact same thing that you did on the show last
100%. You can't. Yeah,
I mean, that to me is like, I have so many other questions, like in terms of like presidential politics. Like, for example, one, I'm not a big believer in the electoral college.
Well, it's kind of outdated.
I believe if you got more votes, you should win, right? If more people voted for you, then you should win.
Yeah, but I disagree with that. But go ahead.
But no, just hear me out.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
Whether it is or not, I don't believe it as it, but it doesn't change my life. No, if it changes or not.
No, I asked,
right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I asked Frank this.
If you like it and I don't like it, either way, tomorrow's still going to be the same way tomorrow's going to be because it doesn't affect my city hall,
exactly.
Like, I don't know, bills or anything like that. Right. So a lot of it, I think, is discussional topics or like, let me ask you this. If you run for office and you raise all this money and you lose, where does the money go?
You keep it.
Bang.
I think it's your war chest. Joe Biden right now, the only person he could hand over his war chest of campaign fundraising money is to Kamala Harris.
Now, according to my father, said if that were to happen,
that
Kamala, if she chose not to run, the money would go back to the donors.
Correct. The money has to be returned, and that will never happen.
Okay.
Right.
That is what
the DNC will prop up one of those two. So it's either going to be Biden or it's going to be Harris. That's it.
But at this point, after everything that's happened, and I know we put a percentage on it, whatnot, but Trump, Biden, we're a few months away. This event obviously is significant. Would you put a stamp of approval on Donald Trump winning the election?
Well, I mean, I don't listen. You can't do that because we just went through this election cycle almost 4 years ago and we had a stamp of approval going into that election.
Sort of.
We had a stamp of approval. You saw, we had COVID, but even before the COVID, you saw what was going on.
Yeah.
The president at the time, who was Donald Trump, was going to rallies with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and Joe Biden, they were in a circle of cars that were 20, 30 feet apart. They kept their distance. Right. He can't. He did, but so you got to realize something. I think no matter what, if you see another 80 million votes for Joe Biden this time around, I mean, something. It's staring us right in our face. If you see the guy, and I'm sorry, if you see the guy and he's stuttering, he's mumbling.
Well, he's got a lot of Botox.
He's talking about things that don't make any sense. He's referring to people that aren't even the right people.
Well, he called the president of Ukraine Putin.
Right, Putin. Right. And he called it his vice president. He just said his vice president was Donald Trump. Yeah. So bottom line, at that point in time,
that's who's running.
When you wake up as a human and you say, no, listen, that guy's not the right guy. Now, the only other choice would be Kamala Harris. Okay, now that's it. But they don't want her either.
I wouldn't want her either.
Right. So now they're stuck. So you're going to back a senile. And you know what, though? It makes sense in a way, because realistically, the president is only the face of the organization.
I was just going to say that. The cabinet is the most important part.
The DNC runs the whole show.
Yeah,
I mean, there's including Barack Obama, there's probably 5 or 6 people in a room.
Obama
and they're running the country right now.
Yes.
They're coming up with the smart ideas.
Yeah.
But if you can't see, and here's the problem too, is that too many people are worried about social issues instead of economic issues. I could give 2 shits about social issues.
Well,
okay, I'm not saying racism and stuff like that. That's fine.
Use your women's bathroom.
What's that?
If I want to use your
I don't believe it. I don't believe in that stuff there. I don't. But that should never been brought up in the first place. That you can identify as a bread box. I don't care.
Women's bathroom.
No, but that's one issue. Maybe you've got a table, but see, they opened up the door by even acknowledging this crap.
Yes,
you can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
How can
turning it into character?
Yeah, right. But you're telling me if anybody can identify at any time what they want to identify, and then I'm a movie star and I'm going to be in the next. I should just walk on a movie set and just start making a damn movie. I identify as the best actor in the world. Right.
Yeah,
so how can you do this as a group of people, supposedly very well educated people, but because it seems like they're worried about the white. Older, higher educated male who used to be Republican. They're all Democrats now.
Yeah,
since the Vietnam War. I told you. Do you know my theory?
Yeah,
my theory is simple. In the Vietnam War, all the hippies and the students and the druggies were protesters. They were protesters. They became our professors. They became our first round of professors. And we've had 4 generations of people that have been brought up by this theory of revolt, rebel, fight against, not conform. I'm not saying we always have to conform to everything. There's obviously a lot of indiscriminate things in the world we have to fight against. But bottom line, these people wake up in the morning and they're rebelling against air.
Yeah, they don't
want to breathe. They can't breathe.
They want to protest everything.
Everything. How can you function in society if everything is a freaking protest?
They need a cause.
And it's like, why don't you get up and go to work?
That's the cause.
No, they don't want to work.
That's the cause.
And
get up, feed your family, go to work.
The scapegoat, right? That's almost their way out of it. To me, it's like, listen, we live in it. America's not perfect, right? But there's a lot of opportunities here. And sometimes I feel like whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, sometimes you figure out a way to kind of slide through the system. And no matter who you meet, you're going to put on a show about some topic, about something. And it's like, set the fucking alarm clock, get up at 8, go to a fucking job, and let's go. You know what I mean?
And pay your bills. Yeah.
And pay your bills. Just do that.
They don't want to do that.
Let's see you do that. That's the hero.
They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that, Sheb. They don't.
They don't want to. And that's the shitty part.
Right. All they're conforming is, and you know what? Here's the great thing. What they want to do is strive to move the country towards a socialistic society. And what that means is the government has to send us a check. We should only work about 25 to 30 hours a week like they do in Europe. Right, we should have
4-day work week,
paid holidays, 2-month vacations. We can go to, and so they're striving to get to that. But the government controls everything. They're going to tell you how much it is. There's some things I take. Listen, social healthcare. I think we need that across the board. Yeah. It should not cost thousands of dollars to get a tooth pulled. Right. So
in Massachusetts, it's required to have healthcare.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep. Right.
And if you don't make a certain amount of money, they give it to you.
Correct.
Right.
But
Right.
that should be, listen, top to bottom. Warren Buffett said if the top 500 companies, corporations in this country pay their increase in taxes as to the levels of what an average citizen pays, bottom line, we would have the entire country, the citizens would have to pay no federal income tax.
Right.
So there are ways that it can happen. It's just a matter of who's going to vote that to happen. And that's where everybody's palms gets greased. And that's why this political system is damaged. It's damaged almost beyond repair because it's become a gluttonous swell of pigs.
You're the one who said greed is good.
Right. Greed is good.
Gordon Gekko.
Right.
Yeah.
Gordon Gekko.
Yes, I agree 100 because I'm a capitalist. And that's why, you know what? I have as much chance of failing as I do of succeeding. But at least I have a chance to succeed.
Absolutely.
In a socialist society, you don't have much of a chance to succeed.
This is
Right.
the level
unless you, again,
This is the peak. You're peak.
unless you're happy with the $1,000 check to the house a month, and you're happy with the 25-hour work week, and you want to drink a couple cups of coffee in the morning in the piazza in France or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they're all striving for this, and they're paying a 50% tax rate.
And Sheb, as a small business owner, have you struggled to get workers or people who want to come and work for you, or do you find yourself having to do more yourself?
So for me, I worked in the hotel business for 18 years
I know
before
you
I got into laundry.
You learned
Right.
everything, and you saved your money, and you opened.
And
your
I
own business.
learned the most important thing I learned in the hotel business was communicating with all different types of people.
Right.
Right. And I think for me, right, I've learned a couple key things. I don't ever want anybody to say they work for me. I want them to say we work with me, right? I don't ever ask somebody to do anything I wouldn't do myself.
Right.
Right. And I also want to be able to treat somebody, if a situation occurs, I want to treat that person the way I would want to be treated in that situation.
You got to
Right?
give respect to get respect. Absolutely.
You got to do it, right? You have to do it. It's the golden rule, right? Treat others like you would want to be treated. And I truly believe in that. Now, that being said, okay, I've gone through, a lot of, finding the right persons for the right job. Now, my job isn't rocket science, right? It's
but you got to have people you can trust and are loyal.
You have to have trust. You have to have communication, and you have
work
to
ethic.
have somebody that. My biggest thing was, if you like what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's what Uncle
Right?
Boots used to say.
And most people
life.
don't like what they do. They hate it.
And when people don't like what they do, they bring everybody else around them down.
Yes, the negativity is toxic.
The negativity. So I try to create an environment that's fun, that's like, enjoyable, and we communicate, because some of the people that work with me, work with me.
Correct.
I have some people from Latin America. Okay.
Yep.
Here's a great story, and this kind of puts sometimes things in perspective. There's border issues, obviously.
Huge.
Okay. And one woman, her brother wanted to come to America from Honduras. Figured it out. He was trying to get through the border. He got kidnapped by the cartel.
Trying to cross the border?
While they make you sit in a city for 2 days.
Oh my God.
Like you got to go. It's like a very hard process. Okay.
Wow.
He gets kidnapped by the cartel. The cartel calls his family and says, "You give us $25,000, we'll let him go." They paid him the $25,000. They chopped his head off and let him in the desert.
Of course.
Okay.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Another woman who worked for me was a detective in El Salvador. And she cracked the case against the cartel. And the cartel said, "We're going to come after you, your entire family, and your whole team."
Oh my God.
She got so scared she moved to Boston.
Yes.
Everybody else there is dead.
So they weren't lying.
So they not only were they not lying, but they live with this. They have these, when they get here, they can breathe.
Yes.
Right? It's like this opportunity. And if you find and you do your due diligence of making sure it's the right job for the right person,
right,
you can have a great relationship.
Right.
And you can go a long time, because I have found, even in the hotel business, if you treat others the way you want to be treated and you make the environment enjoyable, they look forward to coming, because you know what? At home, sometimes you're sick of looking at your partner.
No, I agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those
Yeah.
8 hours out of the house can somewhat be refreshing, even though it's work.
Sheb,
You know?
Sheb, I don't mean to cut you off right now, but I'm watching the video of the Republican National Convention, and Donald Trump is making his way out with a gauze on his ear the size of a wallet.
Oh,
Hey,
see, there you
gotta
go.
look. It's
This is
The look, turn that
this is an eye catcher. This is hilarious.
it's all
Where is
about
this?
the look.
Milwaukee?
Milwaukee, of course.
Oh my
Now,
God!
I
that
tell
is
you what, in the
hilarious.
hotel business, right?
Yeah.
And I told Steven this story. I was,
Oh,
my
yeah.
last job, I was the director of VIP services for the Intercontinental Hotel, and I got very friendly. Oh, look at this.
Wait a
guy.
minute. Wait a minute. The Intercontinental. The Continental was John Wick's hotel.
But he
No,
he
the
worked with-
Intercontinental.
Intercontinental. I got you.
He worked
And-
with a lot of celebrities.
And politicians and things
Yeah.
of that nature.
Oh
And-
yeah, he's got a picture of himself with Biden.
And
I gotta
one
have him send it to me, and I'll show you.
I will send that to you. And one thing I learned about all of them, right? No matter what, whether it's a movie star, a politician, a Supreme Court justice, one thing I learned about any of them is they all have one thing that we all have, and that is the ability to be kind, right? I met somebody,
Yep.
I don't want to say their names, but I met two brothers who were actors, okay? The one brother, I gave him my card.
Mark and Donnie Wahlberg.
There you go.
Where
He
did you
took my
pull-
card.
I didn't tell you this.
I didn't know who it was. I just guessed. He's in Boston. Two brothers.
Oh my God.
He took
I didn't tell
my
him,
card
Sheb.
and he arrogantly threw it on the table. And I looked at it, I was like, all right. And his manager said to him, his manager said, hey man, you know, he kind of set this all up. You can't really do that. And the next day he like apologized and I was like, all right, no problem. But that left a bad taste in my mouth. His brother comes in, gives me a hug. Man, thanks for everything. Here's my number. Call me if you need any, you know, blah, 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 blah. Now, that relationship, just from those two first impressions, right, has been years of I'd do anything for Don.
Yeah,
If
right.
our call, I might hit decline. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, because it's all about how you treat people.
I think that's kind of like the lesson I learned. When I call somebody, I hope that they always say, "Oh, Sheb, let me grab this." You know what I mean?
That's what
I
you
try
want.
to
Absolutely.
think of that when I'm talking with people, whether we're working together or it's a new client or.
But Sheb, isn't that what you want as a human being? So like friends have had to not talk to each other or socialize anymore because of their political views.
Right.
It's
So the guy's been
personal,
good.
yeah.
So someone's been good to you for 30 years, and now the guy backs Donald Trump and you hate him, or the guy backs Joe Biden and you hate him. How can you do that?
I can't get into that. I can't stand that because
Exactly.
for me,
Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah.
for me, it's like I love you because of you.
Yeah.
Right. I love you because of everything we've been through together. I'm not gonna, whether you like Trump or Biden, I still like you. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't care. You know how many of my friends' wives think I'm the bad guy? You know,
Yeah.
I'm the single one.
Yeah.
If they come out with me, it's trouble,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Your
get that vibe.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we're loyal to each other and we would do anything for each other. And that stigma of, oh, I got this one friend who's a successful businessman. Every time I see him, we go out to dinner once a month. First thing I say when he sees me, he goes, "Oh, the liberal hump's here." And I'm like, dude, can you keep your voice down? Like, if you want to joke about it privately, fine. And by the way, I never told you who I voted for. So you're
Right.
assuming something, but you're not sure. But because he's so passionate about something, he automatically wants to know. You know, you're always taught, don't talk religion and politics in public.
You can't do it. No.
You're not supposed to do that. The first question he asks is, who'd you vote for?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but listen, I like women. I'm not going to go and bang your sister.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, no.
That's why they're passionate about stuff. But they've got everyone has to pull back and realize what they're looking at and what they're doing, and what they're talking about.
Saying.
Exactly.
But people can't have a political conversation without it becoming personal.
Right.
It's not talking about the issues. It's not explaining, oh, this is my point of view. This is
right,
your point of
but
view.
that's where they have to come a little bit in the middle. Listen,
They don't.
abortion. Religion doesn't drive my politics. Abortion, I don't care. Whatever they want, and up to the states, whatever. What else? Social health care. I think we need social medicine without a doubt. But I'm also a voter ID guy. I'm a voter ID guy. You got to have an ID to vote. Yeah. I'm sorry, you got to be a citizen.
Remind me what is that? Remind me what that.
Voter ID.
Yeah, you have to what?
If you want to vote in any election, whether it be small, local, regional, national, you got to have some kind of ID that establishes who you are.
Like a license or a passport.
Yeah, anything like that. Anything. And you need to be a citizen.
Currently, we don't have to do that when we go vote.
No.
We don't have to do that now.
No, there are sign-ups.
Oh my God, I'm trying to think. I guess I never have.
There are sign-ups right now. Well, when you registered initially as a Republican, Democrat, whatever your party, normally all your information is there and it's stored, and they assume they know that you're a citizen. But right now, people are signing up on the street, and realistically, they're saying you don't need to be a citizen or not. Right. There are tables that are signing people up, and I know they're not. I hate to say this. I know they're not GOP tables.
No.
So where are we? How does it not make sense to people that you need to be a citizen? Well, then why can't I just go vote in France? Why can't I just fly in a plane?
You said you're going to go to all the European countries.
Why can't I go fly in a plane, go land in Paris, go to the voting booth the day of the election, and vote Vive la France, and then leave? Right? I'll vote for Marie Le Pen because I'm a Nazi, and then I'll leave.
Frank, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
In Boston, okay?
Yep.
In Boston, a majority of the business owners, right, who have businesses that are located in the city of Boston, do not live in the city.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But they don't have the ability or option to vote for mayor.
Correct.
Right. You have to live in the city.
The mayor makes a bunch of decisions that affects their business.
Everything around. Right.
Why should I believe if you have a business in the city, you should be able to vote for that leader of that area? So, like, what do you think of that? You would have Tony
I would
Burstone Road.
I would right. For the mayor I understand that, and I think that makes sense. But is it a single owner vote? If it's a corporation, is it 20 members of the corporation that don't live in the city, and they can all vote on that because they have a business in the city?
Let's just take a pizza shop. You own a pizza shop.
Yep.
In Boston. You live in Brookline.
Okay.
You go home every day, but now they're going to do something that's going to affect your rental rate or your % of increase on the water bill or something. And you have no opportunity to vote or participate in something that affects your livelihood.
Right. That's a good point.
To me, I think that has to be looked at. Again, it goes back to locally. It goes locally. You know what I mean? I think your day-to-day stuff, you got to look local.
But if it's local and you have a Silicon Valley plant and a lot of your employees don't live in that area, but they work remotely, do those people get to vote too?
Well, I don't think so.
Just the owner.
It's based on residence. You have to have residence in the city limits to be able to vote. That's why I said.
Well, yeah, but he's asking now. If it's a company and you own the company, what about the employees at the company? Can they dual vote? Can they vote where their residence is? And can they vote for where the company is?
The employees of the company aren't going to be necessarily
paying the taxes.
Right. Their pay is their pay.
Right. Exactly. Right.
They're not paying the bills. They're not paying the water.
Yeah, Sheb, I like that. I like that idea. I think you as an owner,
you know what I'm saying? I think that's something that should be.
Yeah, whoever's paying that should be.
I think that's something that should be talked about because that makes a difference. I think that's huge.
Yeah, I have places in Utica, and I can't vote for the Utica mayor. No,
that might affect your livelihood.
Right.
So, Sheb, how many actual businesses do you have right now?
On the books? Just kidding. Just kidding.
This is funny.
We are the #1 sports talk show in Worcester. This is going to get out.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, I'm trying to help them out.
I only own my laundry business, but I do own some property.
Right.
The nightclub stuff, I do like charity parties every now and then. But it's really focused on the laundry and looking to grow that.
What's the location of that?
So my facility is in Malden, Massachusetts.
Okay.
It's a factory.
Right, because it's commercial.
It's commercial. No,
right.
We don't people don't come in and drop off their dry.
Right, it's not a laundromat, right.
Yeah. No, we have roots and,
And how long have you had this business?
5 years now.
5 years,
but
right.
in 2003, when I was working for the Marriott,
Right.
I had an opportunity to open up a dry cleaners in Brookline, a retail store.
Correct.
And I did, and it, started to grow it, got some commercial accounts, and this guy comes in one day and he goes, "Hey, I own a couple places. I want to buy your store." I go, "Oh, sorry, but it's not for sale." And he wrote down the number, and I go, "Oh, maybe it is for sale."
Everything's for sale.
I go, "Maybe it is for sale." So,
can you tell Frank quickly the graduation story
the
from Newberry?
The speaker, the guy that spoke,
the one that the hotel pricing.
Okay, yeah. So I went to Newberry College, which is a hospitality school.
Gotcha.
And I worked for the Marriott all through college.
Yeah.
And it was really, really helpful. And I started to get I found like a career I liked. And
was that an internship or was it paid?
No. I was a full-time employee.
Full-time employee. Gotcha.
He threw the best parties in Boston.
Beautiful.
So come to my senior year and I'm about to graduate and I have to take an elective and I have to take art history. Okay. And I'm not a Van Gogh fucking guy.
No.
It's not my thing. Right.
Obviously not.
And so I'm in the class and it's not clicking. Right. It's just not working. And the guy goes like this. He goes, "Listen, you need to get a C- on this test or you're not going to graduate." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Buddy, I'm at the hotel every day." I go, "Come on, like this, what am I going to do with this stuff in the hotel? Tell me, help me understand."
with art history. Yeah.
Okay, how much you got in my life? He goes, "This is an elective. You have to do it." Right. I take the test. I get a D+. Okay. The guy goes, "You're not going to graduate." I go, "Buddy, listen, my mother will kick my ass if I don't graduate. Right. We have to be able to do something."
Absolutely would have.
I go, "Can I come in over the weekend and do some extra work?" He goes, "I can't. I'm going to New York." I go, "You're going to New York?"
Where you?
And it rang in my head. I go, "Where are you staying?" And he goes, "I'm staying at the Sheraton." I go, How much is that a night?" He goes, "It's like $4 something." I go, "How's $149 sound?" He goes, "Sounds great." I go, C- great. And that's how I graduated college.
That's fantastic. You gave the discount. You gave the employee discount.
From that point on, I knew everybody had something.
That's right. It's not about what you know.
My job is to find it, right? Like that's how you got it. And what people don't realize, and this I think goes back to like the screaming of the political. Sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up and listen.
Absolutely.
And if you just listen to them, they'll give you the information.
Absolutely.
Right?
Nobody
Sometimes
knows the
I think that's really it because you don't understand what their strengths are because you're always cutting them off and you're always fucking interrupting because you want to talk about you, and you don't realize let them talk and it'll help you. It'll benefit you. Now let me ask you this: how many do you have? One pizza place or you have multiple? I heard.
So there's multiple. A lot of them are rented out.
He franchised.
Yeah, my father's the face of the whole thing. He's 90 and he still gets up every day and works. And he talk about immigrant. People's like people hate immigrants. They don't hate immigrants. My dad's an immigrant. My dad came over in 1961 on a boat from Italy
with $15 in
his pocket. He had $50 in his pocket. One
what
suitcase
part of Italy?
Full of clothes. Calabria. Well, Calabrese. I lived there 4 years. I lived there from 76 to 79.
My friend would love you.
Yeah, beautiful. Bring him.
When you're in, I got to give you a name of a restaurant while you're in Boston. You're going to go to the North End because he's Calabrese.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, send me out there. I'll make mention of you, and then definitely I'll hook up. I'd love to talk to him. But my father came here with nothing. My father still can't read. He still can't write. He speaks the most broken English that you've ever seen. But he made it. But you know what?
Unbelievable.
He made it because he lives to get up and to work. We were sitting last night at the table over here. We were playing Monopoly with my family. And my father doesn't understand the game. It's like buying property. It's what you've been doing for 50 years. He goes, "All right, I'll play like this." And he's sitting around. He's bored, so he's just rolling the dice for me. And I go, listen, he goes, you know what the problem is, Frank? No, Dad, what's the problem? He goes, I don't have any debt anymore. He goes, I need debt.
Right.
I need debt.
To motivate.
I need debt. Right. That's what he's saying. To motivate him.
He's right.
That's the hustle. So and the guy, his portfolio is crazy. The properties that he owns, the businesses that he's opened up in this area. He's a legend in this area.
A true entrepreneur.
If I get 50% of his energy in my rest of my lifetime, I'll be a lucky person. He's my hero. It's ungodly.
Frank had a booth at Woodstock. He was one of the few local people that got a booth at Woodstock.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I worked it along with all of my friends.
Yeah, he screwed that up too.
Oh wow.
I did not.
He screwed that up too. Yep.
I got all the employees. So his father comes to Woodstock, and it's 90 degrees every day. And we did subs. We did the baked potatoes.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Use a little arancini.
Wait a minute. No, we couldn't do that. I couldn't fry. So the thing was, you had to propose what you were going to do for your food stand. There were 40 local food vendors there. And then they brought in the national company, Ogden Foods. This is 99 on the air base in Rome, New York. So we're there, and I proposed, and they accepted me. We're going to do subs. We're going to do, cold subs.
Wraps,
we're going to do baked potatoes, loaded baked potatoes.
So would you get the refrigerator truck out there?
I got a tractor trailer.
It was amazing.
So
this was done.
I pulled in a tractor trailer parked right behind the stand. And because they told me in 4 days that you're there, we actually went on a Wednesday and built the stand at a 10 by 20. And at that time, it cost me $8,000. They wanted $4,000 for every.
And then you bought all
10
our
by 10,
passes,
right? And you get passes for all the people you want to work in your stand. So I paid $8,000. My father looked at me. This is 1999. He looked at me and said, "Are you out of your effing mind?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm going to have a spot at Woodstock." He goes, "You're crazy." But you know what? My father's always and initially said, "I'm nuts." But he always backs what I'm doing in a way. So we go and
right. He supports you.
He helps me build a food stand. We build a food stand at Woodstock, a 10 by 20. We're doing loaded baked potatoes. We're doing veggie wraps. We're doing subs, and we're doing calzones. I made 6,000. They're like strombolis. I made 6,000 strombolis and brought them there, and we sold out of those. It's crazy. So it's day 3. It's the beginning of day 3. It's Thursday was the rave and just started. Friday, everyone came in. So it's about beginning of Saturday, and we're running out of food. Because Coca-Cola had the vending license for the soda and the water. They ran out of product. You couldn't even buy it. A case of water cost you $75 to buy.
It was like $5 a bottle of water, right?
For $4. You want everybody to charge $4. You couldn't charge. You couldn't make it. So we had no water to sell. We had no soda to sell. Nobody. All the vendors were running out. We ran out of bread for the subs. We were running out. We're just selling so much stuff. There was a lot of product that I needed. My father's at home, and he calls you up. "How's it going?" I go, "I'm running out of stuff, Dad, but you can't come on the base here. They locked it down. That's why we brought the tractor trailer for 4 days. Nobody's getting on, nobody's getting off." He goes, "What do you need?"
And you slept there, didn't you?
Oh, he slept in the back of a van. I had a U-Haul van. You had a U-Haul van. So he goes, "What do you need?" I mean, what do you need? And he goes, I'll don't worry, I'll figure something out.
I'll figure it out.
So he goes and rents a U-Haul truck, and he goes to the grocery stores. He picks up water, he picks up Coke, he picks up Diet, he picks up all the bottles, so he gets bread, gets whatever we need, and drives to the front entrance.
Perfect.
I'm like, you're not going to get in. The cops are there. The securities are there. So he's in the U-Haul. He waves to the guys. They wave to him, and they let him drive right in.
Right. And sometimes you just got to do it, man.
But Sheb, I'm there with my friends. This was our senior year in high school before we went to college.
Oh boy.
I had probably 15 or 20 friends that worked, and we worked different shifts. Now, I was on the same shift as his father, and we were doing the baked potatoes and calzones.
Okay.
His father is in a dress shirt and a sweater, long pants.
It's 100 degrees out.
He is working circles around me.
I'm sure.
Putting stuff in the oven, taking stuff out, yelling at me.
And he's yelling at you because you're moving too slow.
Too slow. I couldn't keep up with him.
Yep.
Right.
He was a maniac. He
right. Yeah.
He worked like I've never seen before.
He wrapped so many big potatoes with it. He sat down on a bucket and rolled up his dress pants so he'd have a little bit of air coming through his legs. And he's just wrapping potatoes in aluminum foil for hours.
Now, let me ask you this, Frank. Did he get up every morning at like 5?
Every morning he's up at 6 o'clock.
I don't think he slept.
I don't
think he slept every day.
Does he own his own? Does he have his own garden?
He's got his own garden. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
I have friends that are the same. Their fathers are the same exact way.
My father was a farmer. Yeah, he's a farmer.
Calabria, right? It's
there's nothing. My father did olives. He did the olives and grapes. He did olive oil and wine.
The gentleman that I'm going to tell you this restaurant to go check out. Right when he came here,
Yep.
he was a waiter at another restaurant in the North End.
Mm.
Okay, and every day he'd go get cigarettes and scratch tickets from the corner store. One day he hit for $1 million.
Oh.
And he opened up his own restaurant, and he used that story to promote it.
Wow.
So I was a concierge at the hotel, and he came over and he goes just like this. He goes, "Hey, I own this restaurant. I just opened. You know, this is for you. Start sending people." And he gave me $200. I'm 18 years old. I looked at him. I go, "You keep giving me money, I'll keep sending the fucking people. Don't worry about it."
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And we built a relationship for 17 years.
Oh my Lord.
I mean, people would come up to me and they'd go, "I heard Boston's got great seafood." I go, "No, you want Italian tonight."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's great.
But like his personality, the way he sold the story, but his whole family worked there. His mother used to carry the sauce across the street. Like,
Beautiful.
It was just, and it was great. It was great food. It is great food. And it's called limoncello.
Limoncello. Okay.
He makes his own limoncello, and but I understand the story because that's exactly how I see him.
And that's in the North End, limoncello.
It's in the North End. Yeah,
I'll be there.
Right next to Paul Revere's house, 190 North.
Oh, all right. That's right near Modern Pastry, isn't it?
Now Modern and Mike's are the big back to back.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Got to do Modern.
Yeah, I think Modern's better than Mike's.
I do. I agree. Where are you staying, Frank?
My wife booked a hotel. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll get your number. I'll text you.
Yeah, let me know because I know a lot of the people in the hotel, so I'll make sure you're taking good care of.
That's fantastic.
Sheb, make sure you send me the picture of you with Biden. I want to show him that. I'll get it.
I will. Yeah, I will for sure.
Great. That's great. Good for you, man. Yeah. I love hearing stories about that. I love hearing stories about guys that mingle and know everyone. You know, you walk into the town. For me in business here locally, I know a lot of people, but that whole scene I think is fantastic. And you're in a much bigger city than I am. I'm in a little rinky-dink area here. To know people in that city, that's saying something. That's great.
No, that's why.
My father was when my father came here in the 70s. He grew up with Steven's father. Yeah, and they all grew up together. My father used to spend summers in Utica.
Oh, no kidding. Up at the camp, your camp up there?
No, where my Sito and Jid used to live.
Oh, okay,
right across the street from the football field.
I got you. Steve, you know the story that Steve played ball for me in high school, right?
Yeah, he knows. I think
it's okay.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
When we were growing up, it was protocol that you had to spend at least a couple of summers in Utica, a weekend or two.
Yeah. Well, that was a secret. In case the shit hit the fan in the big city, you could come hide out in the North Country.
Listen, let me tell you, I'd go to jail before I go to Utica.
Uncle Bink, because you couldn't pay him to come back.
But as I gotten older, I started to enjoy it more. And when Steven graduated high school, we went down. Was it you or your? No, it was yours.
You went to. It turned into mine, but it was really Matt. It was Matt's graduation.
Okay. My dad goes like this. Listen, we got to go for Matthew. Steven will be there. We're gonna go up and back same day, 3.5 hour ride. Okay. We get up there. We're so loaded. By 4 o'clock, I look at Dad. I go, "We driving home?" He goes. I go, "We're gonna drive home." He goes, "You're gonna drive."
Great.
It took us 8 hours to get home because we stopped at every bar on the ride home.
Great.
We had such a good time. But all my fondest memories in Utica have always been with Steven because his family's always been so nice and hospitable. And when he got into UConn, we got to hang out a little more.
Yeah. Right.
And that was awesome, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Saturday was probably the first time I've seen him, probably 20 years.
No kidding.
But we got to make sure we talked about
that's
stuff.
great.
We're gonna take care of that. We're gonna do that.
I'll definitely hit up the North End. I'll hit up Modern. I know I sell cannolis out of my store. I sell 300-400 a week just out of a pizzeria. So yeah, I do. But I do. Just like Modern does too, I do the exotic ones. So like the big thing right now for me is blueberry cannolis.
Blueberries are amazing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I sell like 100 a day just coming out of there sometimes in the first 2 weeks when the blueberries are out because everybody wants them. So no, it's a good thing. So yeah, definitely I want to check out the cannoli shops without a doubt.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's great.
Well, Sheb, you did a great job. Your first time on the radio.
I'm pumped up, man. I mean, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if viewership goes up 35% after my appearance. So
I'm gonna send you.
I want to see the numbers,
and then you got to send the link to all your friends. I posted on Facebook. I posted on Instagram, LinkedIn. And then with all the contacts you have, it might go up 35%.
That's perfect.
That's what we need. He knows everyone in the city of Boston. So we might go right.
My political views obviously are going to drag the whole show into the gutter.
No,
so
everyone wants to hear it. Everyone wants to hear it.
Sure, they want to hear it. They want to hear the lunatic on the other side.
The bullying thing might take it down a little.
Yeah. Without a doubt. I hate to see that bullying thing. That's why I'm always listen. I've got a 17-year-old kid.
Okay.
He's a junior. He'll be a senior in high school this year. Yeah. And you know what? He's not alpha. So
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part. What'd you say?
He's not alpha. So he's not he's not an aggressive kid. He with some things at home, yes, he's aggressive with his parents, but bottom line, he'll succumb to people's initial pressures and all that. Now my kid is 6'8", 235 pounds.
Holy shit.
Right. He's a basketball player. He's not a bad basketball player. He loves working in the shop. I have a country western bar as well, Sheb, so I'll get you up here on the mechanical bull sometime. So
I don't know about that, but I'll come to the bar.
You'll love it.
Shovels on any bar.
So he runs at 17. He runs the mechanical bull. He does a better job than two adults I had running who I had to fire.
And he's the lifeguard.
And
now.
He lifeguards up at the pool. So he wants to go. He's a smart kid. He's a National Honor Society kid. He wants to go to college. We're going to take him to Binghamton on Wednesday just to take a look at university.
Where are you going to take him? I'm sorry.
Binghamton University.
Binghamton. Okay.
So he's going. That's kind of like where it's one of his first wishes to go look at that right there. But he's just so a lot of times he gets his balls broken. You know what I mean? But he doesn't exert himself. And I hate that. I hate when young adults don't exert themselves, because most of the time when you grab a bully by the neck and you get in their face, they're going to back down. Once in a while they won't, but you know what? Getting an ass kicking is not a bad thing in life.
No, you need to.
No, it's not. I agree with that.
I'm not advocating everyone go out and fisticuff everything.
No.
At some point in
time, it's not that bad.
Right.
You're not afraid of it.
At some point in time, you have to attack your challenges. Okay.
But sometimes you can attack them differently.
No, I agree. You're not wrong.
You can attack them differently. I'll be honest with you. I've been in a million bar rooms, a billion nightclubs. I've never been in a fight.
Right.
I've never been in one altercation in my entire life.
Right.
Because I've always said,
you talk your way out.
I either talk my way out or I'm going to walk away from it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the consequence, because God forbid, the one time I do it, I hit him, he cracks his fucking head open, and I'll spend the rest of my life in jail.
Right. No, I agree. I feel bad for these kids. And this is why we have kids that are taking a rifle and going up on top of the building.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
But if they could find the inner courage sometimes to challenge these people that are belittling them, which I can't stand. I can't stand it. I hate it with a passion. I hate it. I coached high school football for 20 years. I coached college football for 3. I've seen it on all different levels.
You've seen all of it.
I've seen it. I've seen how kids treat, and kids treat each other terribly. And the ones that are even worse, women, young girls treat each other horribly. And why do they do this? It's because life to them is a competition. They're all fighting for the same thing.
That's social media.
Right.
That's social media.
Correct.
And that's the bad thing about social media. I'll tell you this real quick.
Very toxic.
I saw an interview. I saw there's an actor, Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, absolutely.
Okay?
Good actor.
He's walking down the red carpet, okay? And this woman grabs him and says, "Michael B. Jordan, great to see you. How's everything?" And he looked at her and he goes, I'm the kid you used to call a geek in high school, right?"
Good for him.
I'm the kid you used to make fun of, right?
Good for him remembering that.
And he goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep going now." And think about that feeling when, there could be a time 20 years down the road, your son's walking down the street or he's driving a Ferrari, and the other kid's driving a dump truck, and he could look at him and say, "Hey, buddy, who's picking on who now?"
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, there's a lot of ways to get retribution.
And sometimes those motivate. Sometimes that could be his motivation.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
But what troubles me in this world is that it takes too long for that, and this is where these kids snap and lose their shit, and they're all over the place. They're all over the map.
And where's that kid's parents? The bullying parents.
Right.
Where's it starts at the house.
It's probably me. I'm the guy telling, hey, son, go pop that kid in the face. It's gotta
There
be,
you go.
It's my fault. I'm half the problem, I guess. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
No,
But like,
you got a good kid. He's smart. Yeah.
No, I know. I just can't stand, because there's so many more relevant things going on in life.
Right.
That,
and you're a parent, though, right? You're a parent.
Yeah.
It's a different.
Yeah,
Stephen and I, we're not. You know, I'm the cool uncle.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
You
the guy. You're the guy giving money at Christmas out of your pocket.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
when my niece and nephew cry, I give them back. You know what I mean?
That's great.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
great.
That
Well,
was good.
Sheb, you did great on your first radio show on
I hope you
Moneyline.
invite me back. I'd love to do it again.
Anytime you want. The name of your store again, A-List
A-List Laundry.
Okay, A-List Laundry.
And A-List Laundry. And our you can email me at shebs@alistlaundry.com.
I'll put that in our notes for sure. Perfect. And I completely forgot to mention our sponsor. Moneyline is sponsored by Steve Darby and the 42nd Brew Co. Located in Kingston, Massachusetts. They have a variety of Pilsners, lagers, and IPAs. They have a wonderful tap room, outdoor seating,
and all those beers can currently be found in my bar right here in Washington Mills.
incredible ambiance. Yes,
Yeah.
and Frank invested in buying some beer from 42nd Brew Co., but he wouldn't give me my doggy daycare. So if you get a chance and you're looking for something to do this weekend, head on down to 42nd Brew Co. and Steve Darby.
Sheb,
Thank
let me ask you
Steve, for being our
something.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Beer or beagles?
What was the second word?
Beagles. The dogs.
I don't even know.
The beagles. You know those little beagles, the little dogs.
The little dogs.
Yeah. Would you want beer or would you want beagles?
That's
Oh,
not,
I see where we're going with
that's
this.
not a fair question.
All right.
I mean, I'm with you, Frank. I'm going with the beer.
We're going with the beer. That's why
taking the
I
beer.
grabbed a bunch of cases. Steve brought them back for me from when he went to go
Right.
see Darby, and
Food
so
stocks, so, yeah.
it's fantastic. I got them all in my bar now, and actually they're selling.
Yeah.
They're selling. The uniqueness of them is selling it. That's why, because people, they don't have that around
Yeah,
here.
no,
They don't have that, and so
it's
they're
good
all
beer.
going. And I set a nice, friendly price point in the beginning, so people come and buy them. We'll see what kind of relationship we can get. Maybe we can get some more up here.
Yeah, and then we'll get my doggy daycare.
No, fuck that.
All
And
right.
then Frank, Frank, you sound like a guy. You'll work that rep pretty good. I'm pretty sure you'll get a couple cases on the house.
Well, I'm gonna have to because it's Steve's friend, so I got.
There you go.
I got the
Right?
connection.
Tell him to throw Steve a T-shirt, and maybe they'll do a doggy daycare.
Doggy
for him.
daycare.
Hey,
Yeah.
Sheb, just find a weekend and you can come up to the lake. Talk to
I
Johnny.
love that.
I'm
Dave.
gonna-
I love it.
make the
Sheb,
trip up to
I'm
the
making
lake.
my way to Boston this weekend. I'm going to message you.
I'm going to give you his
Please
number.
do. Yeah, Steven, make sure you give him my info. Thanks, guys. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Take
All
care.
right.
Take
For Sheb Shumar, my cousin, and the coach, Frankie C., I am the best radio host in the universe, Steve Cully. This has been Moneyline on 97.9 Unity Radio. Remember, when life gives you lemons,
What do you do?
don't make lemonade.
Really?
You take 2 oranges
Do what?
and you throw them right back at life.
Wow.